Well, our guest Mitch Perry reported this week that the Florida Democratic Party criticized Florida Republican Senator Rick Scott's 2022 declaration that he intended to sunset all federal programs every 5 years, including Medicare, even though Scott later reversed that stance. On the 59th anniversary of the day that President Lyndon Johnson signed into law the legislation establishing the Medicare and Medicaid programs, Democrats, hoping to defeat Scott in November, referenced his Rescue America agenda initially proposed in 2022. It originally called for ending all federal programs after 5 years, unless Congress voted to reauthorize them, including Social Security and Medicare. But after enduring mounting criticism from Democrats and fellow Republicans like Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Scott revised his plan the next year, excluding those two popular entitlement programs. Scott wrote in an op-ed for the Washington Examiner saying, "I believe that all federal legislation should sunset in 5 years, with specific exceptions for Social Security, Medicare, National Security, Veterans Benefits, and other essential services. If a law is worth keeping, Congress can pass it again." Despite that announcement, Florida Democrats warned that seniors should not trust anything Scott says about Social Security and Medicare. So, Mitch, the Democrats tried to revive this issue this week. Why did they try to revive it, and does it have any legs?
Well, a couple of things on that, Rob. I'll say this. Rick Scott did, rescind that over a year ago, right after Joe Biden made an issue of it during the State of the Union address. And my thing is, right, like the Democrats, Kamala Harris has already rescinded some of her positions from 2019, and she's probably going to do some more as she goes along here. So this is politics, I mean, how much do you want to emphasize what he used to say? However, Rick Scott, during the RNC, spoke on a conservative podcast, and he did say that, he hates the amount of federal spending going on, and he'd like to cut it in half. And I talked to a couple economists about that, and they said, you're going to hit Social Security and Medicare if you do that. Now, I mean, unless you raise taxes, which I know he doesn't want to do. So I think this is actually, he did, reverse his statement on that, but he still kind of talks around that a little bit in a way that's kind of dangerous for him. I think this is a better argument for them to go against than, say, abortion rights, which they really hammered him earlier on, and that didn't seem to have a lot of movement.
Natalie, you get the last word on this. Is Rick Scott vulnerable on the question of whether or not he supports Social Security and Medicare?
I don't think so. I don't think that is going to have any kind of validity that is going to impact the outcome of that race. And I think that, again, we are seeing a lot of our candidates where they evolve through the process as well, and they do change their position. So, and a sunset is not a complete elimination. It gives them an opportunity for another conversation. So I don't know that that's always bad, because we're doing that often in the state level too.